How to crochet a cone shape.
Hi, I'm Hui Pei from Pocket Yarnings, and welcome to this free masterclass on crocheting 3D shapes for amigurumi. So in these 15 bite-sized lessons, we'll go through the 3 most essential shapes that are needed to crochet amigurumi, which includes spheres, cylinders, as well as cones, and then learn how to customize them in different ways to crochet the amigurumi that you've always dreamed of. So there are a few things I want to mention. Don't forget to grab your free cheat sheet, which is the free Amigurumi Shape Building cheat sheet, which has printable patterns and a visual reference of all the shapes that we'll be going through, as well as snippets of the 3 most basic shapes, which are pretty useful. And then also, one more thing is, if you want step-by-step pictorial instructions, as well as the patterns, as well as ad-free versions of all the videos that are included in this free masterclass, then go to the link in the description to check out the full course that I have available inside a Thrive Card platform. So I think that's all that I want to mention, and please enjoy the masterclass. Even if you don't purchase the course, do remember to check out all free 15 videos on YouTube, as well as grab the free cheat sheets that you can download. So let's get started. Today's lesson, we are going back to basics again, which is the classic cone shape, which is simple, pointy, and very versatile. In this case, I'll be making a slightly wider cone.
How to crochet a cone shape. Here I'll be using a sport weight yarn as well as a 3.5 mm hook to make the cone. So we will first start off, instead of a magic ring, we will start off with a slip knot instead. And then we will proceed to do the first round, which involves chain 2 and then 3 single crochet stitches into the second chain from the hook. As you can see here, the first single crochet, and then the second, and then the third. I prefer to use this method over the magic ring because it tends to make a sharper starting point, which is what we want for a cone. Then here we move on to round 2. We insert the hook into the initial stitch that we started off with, and then for round 2 we increase all around the round for 3 sets to get a total of 6 stitches. Do note that it can be a little bit difficult to work in the first few rounds because the number of stitches in the round is quite few. So to mark the start of the round, insert a stitch marker so that you can demarcate the start of every round. We continue increases all around the round to get a total of 6 stitches at the end. This is the end of round 2, and then we're moving on to round 3. I made a single crochet first, and then I inserted a stitch marker at the start of the round. For round 3, alternate single crochet 1 stitch and increase for a total of 3 sets to get 9 stitches in the round. So I've done the first single crochet, and then we will do the increase in the next stitch. So I've inserted the hook into the second stitch in the round, and then we will proceed to make an increase in this stitch. Finish up the alternating single crochet and the increase in the round to get 9 stitches in the round. You can see that round 3 is done here and there's a small cone forming already. This time for round 4, single crochet 2 stitches and then an increase for a total of 3 sets to get 12 stitches in the round. So I've done the first 2 single crochet stitches and then now I'm moving on to the increase. So this is the first single crochet and then the increase in the same stitch, and then we continue that for the rest of the round. You should have completed round 4 with a total of 12 stitches. And then we're moving on to round 5 and then inserting the stitch marker at the start of the round. For round 5, single crochet 3 stitches and then an increase for a total of 3 sets to get 15 stitches. So this is the next single crochet and then the third single crochet, and then we will work the increase in the next stitch 1 and then the second one. So this is 1 set done, and repeat another 2 more sets to get 15 stitches. As you continue making the cone, you will notice that the base is getting wider and wider while the tip stays narrow. So here round 5 is done. For round 6, single crochet 4 stitches and then an increase for a total of 3 sets to get 18 stitches. So the second single crochet, and then we will work the third single crochet, and then after that the fourth in the round, and then after that we will work the increase. As you can see, there are 4 stitches that are done there. So here we are working the first stitch, and then we will repeat the increase in the same stitch for a total of 18 stitches in the round. We have finished our round 6 here with a total of 18 stitches. You can see that the base is getting wider and wider. So then we will move on to decreasing here. So you can continue to add more rounds as you want, but I've decided to stop here. And then to decrease, we're going to close off the cone. And for this round, for round 7, we will single crochet 1 stitch in back loops only, and then a decrease in back loops only, and then repeat this alternating process for 3 sets. So you can see I've finished the first single crochet in the back loops only, and then we'll move on to the decrease. So insert the hook once, and then the second time, and then after that we yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Here I'll be using a single crochet standard decrease instead of invisible decrease, because it can be quite difficult to work the invisible decreases in back loops only. So this is the next decrease, 1, and then the second one, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops for a single crochet decrease. The idea to work in the back loops only so that you can see the front loop border over here. After you're done with the round, add stuffing to the cone. Here I've used recycled yarn stash, and then now we will now round 7 is done, and then we will close off in the following round, in round 8. So let's remove the stitch marker first. And then for round 8, we'll be working in both loops. Instead of just the back loop only, we are doing decrease all around the round. In this case, I've decided to do invisible decrease because it's easier as we are working into both loops now. So I'll put stitch marker at the start of the round. This is the first decrease done, and then we'll move on to the next single crochet invisible decrease. We insert to the front loop and then the front loop, and then we will proceed to do an invisible decrease like so. Finish up the decreases in the rest of the round. Remember to flatten the base and make the front loop border more obvious, as you can see over here. So then after that, you leave a trailing yarn to fasten off. Of course, remove the stitch marker since you're done, and we are going to close up the cone. You can see I've actually made the base without having to sew a separate piece to the base of the cone. So then thread the trailing yarn through a darning needle, like you see over here. Then close up in front loops only and fasten off. To finish off the whole piece, close up the hole and thread the needle into the base and out of the cone. And flatten the base of the cone so that the front loop only border is more obvious. So you can see here that the final cone is completed. This cone tends to be a wider cone and you can continue to increase more rounds as needed. But check out the more tutorials at pocketyarnings.com for different types of cones.
Thanks so much for watching and following along with the tutorials. If you found this helpful, don't forget to grab the free Amigurumi Shape Building cheat sheets that you can get, which includes the basic patterns for the spheres, cones and cylinders. And also don't forget to check out the full Amigurumi Shape Building course, which has step-by-step pictorial tutorials, all the patterns from this series, as well as all the ad-free videos and bonus videos inside as well. So or if not, you can just keep following along here on YouTube, where all the videos will be available for free. And have fun crocheting, and I'll see you in the next lesson.